Hi students, welcome to Physics Made Easy channel by Pratap Naidu. Our next topic is circular motion at a glance. Let us see the topics. I have divided this chapter into two major topics, major parts. Number one is kinematics and number two is dynamics. So in kinematics part A, kinematics, there are four topics here. Number one, centripetal acceleration and tangential acceleration. Number two, kinematics of circular motion, angular version. Number three, kinematic equations of circular motion, angular as well as linear versions. Next one, relation between linear and angular variables, that is kinematic variables. Next one, part B, dynamics. Uniform circular motion, non-uniform circular motion, motion on horizontal curves, banking of roads. There are two subtopics in banking of roads: tendency to skid downwards, tendency to skid upwards. Next one, motion in horizontal circle on smooth surface in air. Next topic, death well or rotor. Next one, uniform motion in vertical circle. Next, non-uniform motion in vertical circle. Three cases in non-uniform motion in vertical circle. Next one, vehicles moving on convex, concave and horizontal surfaces. Next, vertical circular motion of a particle attached to a rigid rod. And last one is centrifugal force. So first one is centripetal acceleration and tangential acceleration. Centripetal acceleration is also called as radial acceleration or normal acceleration, designated by AC, and tangential acceleration by AT. This centripetal acceleration arises due to change in the direction of velocity, whereas this tangential acceleration arises due to the change in the magnitude of velocity. Here, centripetal acceleration is always directed towards the center of the circle along the radius, and tangential acceleration AT is directed along the tangent of the circle. See, mathematically AC equal to V square by R, and mathematically AT, tangential acceleration AT, equal to dV by dt or V dV by ds. Here, what is V? V is instantaneous velocity at that particular point on the circle, and capital R, this is the radius of the circle here. So since there are two types of accelerations, AC and AT, so there will be resultant acceleration of these two accelerations. So A is given as A equal to root of AC square plus AT square. So resultant acceleration equal to square root of AC square plus AT square. And here the resultant acceleration's direction is given by this expression tan theta equal to AC by AT. See here, this is the circular motion. This is along the radius, AC is there. Along the tangent, AT is there. So this is the resultant acceleration A. This is angle theta. So tan theta equal to y component by x component. Y component is AC here, x component is AT here. Therefore tan theta equal to AC by AT. Next one, kinematics of circular motion, angular version. Kinematics of circular motion, angular version. Right. See, this is angular displacement. So kinematics of circular motion in terms of angular version means we have to consider the angular motion here. So here the position of the particle at any instant of time is given by the radius vector. So if the particle moves on the circumference of the circle, this radius vector also sweeps some angle here. So let us see the angular variables here. The first one is angular displacement, theta. So what is the angular displacement theta? Change in angular position is called as angular displacement. Suppose initially when t equal to 0, it is here. This radius vector is at this position like this. In t seconds, it has swept this angle theta here like this. So this theta is called as angular displacement and it is mathematically expressed as s theta equal to s by r, where s is the arc length on which the particle has moved and r is the radius of the circle. So this angular displacement is mathematically related with the arc length and radius of the circle as theta equal to s by r. Here theta is an axial vector. Theta is a vector only for very small angles. For large angles, angular displacement theta is not at all a vector. What I mean by axial vector means it is a vector that lies along the axis passing through the center of the circle and normal to the plane of the circle. Okay, so what are the SI units of angular displacement? Radians. Next one, angular velocity omega. So what is average angular velocity? Same as we have come across the linear kinematic variables in motion along a straight line. So removing that word linear, we have to just induce the word angular. That's the difference here. So what you have learned there, the same things you will be learning here. So angular velocity omega. Here average angular velocity, instantaneous angular velocity. See, at t1, the particle's angular position is given by theta 1. At t2, its angular position is given by theta 2. Its angular position is given by theta 2. So here, average angular velocity omega bar equal to theta 2 minus theta 1 by t2 minus t1, delta theta by delta t. So average angular velocity equal to total change in angular displacement by total time interval. Instantaneous angular velocity. So omega equal to limit delta t tends to 0, delta theta by delta t. This is instantaneous angular velocity. This is equal to d theta by dt. So what are SI units for angular velocity? Radians per second. SI unit for angular velocity is radians per second. So next one. If rotation is anti-clockwise, omega bar is along positive z axis. Suppose let us consider the circle is lying in xy plane here. Then if rotation is anti-clockwise, what is the direction of omega bar? It is along positive z axis. And if rotation is clockwise, it is along negative z axis. If omega is constant, then omega equal to 2 pi by t. Angular velocity omega equal to 2 pi by t. 2 pi is angular distance. Time is total time taken for this one. So omega equal to total distance. The velocity equal to distance by time. No? Velocity equal to displacement by time. Similarly, angular velocity omega equal to angular distance by time here. So omega equal to 2 pi by t. And 1 by t equal to nu. Therefore, this is equal to 2 pi nu. Whereas nu is linear frequency. While omega is angular frequency. So omega is angular frequency. Nu is linear frequency. Okay. Next one. What about omega about different points? Suppose let us consider circular motion of a particle from A to B. It moves from A to B, sweeping an angle alpha here. If we consider with respect to point P, this particle it sweeps an angle beta with respect to point P here. With respect to point O, that is center of the circle, it is sweeping an angle of alpha here. With respect to point B, which is on this diameter, it is sweeping an angle beta here. So about point O, what is angular velocity? Omega naught equal to alpha by t. So what about this one? Omega p equal to beta by t. And what is the relation between omega and omega p here? Omega naught equal to 2 times of omega p, because alpha equal to 2 beta. Put here alpha equal to 2 beta. So 2 into beta by t. Beta by t is omega p. Therefore omega naught equal to 2 times of omega p. So angular velocity is not same. If you take different points, it varies, depends upon the point chosen. Okay, next one. Angular acceleration alpha. So average angular acceleration and instantaneous angular acceleration. Average angular acceleration alpha bar equal to total change in angular velocity by total time interval. So alpha bar equal to omega 2 minus omega 1 by t2 minus t1. This is equal to delta omega by delta t. And instantaneous angular acceleration alpha equal to limit delta t tends to 0, delta omega by delta t, that equal to d omega by dt. So alpha equal to d omega by dt or omega d omega by d theta. Just recall here, and motion is straight line, you know. In motion in a straight line, you know, linear acceleration A equal to dv by dt. Instantaneous acceleration, you know, A equal to dv by dt or v dv by ds. Similarly here, alpha, angular acceleration alpha equal to d omega by dt or omega d omega by d theta. Here in the place of v, we are getting omega here. In the place of v, omega. In the place of s, their linear displacement, s for linear displacement and theta for angular displacement. So here, what about this alpha? Alpha is also, and one more thing here. How you got this one, omega into d omega by d theta? So since d omega by dt, we can write d omega by dt, this one, as d omega by d theta into d theta by dt is equal to d theta, this one I am writing front here, d theta by dt into d omega by d theta is equal to, what is d theta by dt? Omega, displacement by time, angular displacement by time, omega into d omega by d theta. So alpha equal to d omega by dt or omega d omega by d theta. Okay, so here alpha is axial vector. What are SI units for this? Alpha is radian per second square. Then what about the direction of alpha? So if omega is increasing, alpha will be in the direction of omega. If omega is decreasing, alpha will be in the direction of opposite to that of omega here. Suppose if the particle is moving in anti-clockwise direction, what is the direction of omega? Along positive. Suppose if the circular motion lies in xy plane, and if the particle moves in anti-clockwise direction, omega will be along positive z axis. Suppose if omega is increasing, alpha is also in the positive z axis only. And if the particle is moving in anti-clockwise direction, omega is along the positive z axis. But if omega is decreasing now, then alpha will be in opposite direction, that is a minus z axis. That is minus z axis. The next topic is kinematic equations of circular motion. So here, kinematic equations of circular motion, there are two versions here. We are studying circular motion in terms of linear as well as angular versions. So in terms of linear, what happens here? The velocity, the tangential velocity, see like this, the velocity will be along the tangent. Acceleration also will be along the tangent. So suppose if this velocity, linear velocity is increasing, at tangential acceleration will be in the direction of velocity only. Suppose if velocity is decreasing, at will be in opposite direction. Okay, so if velocity is increasing, suppose if this one is along positive x-axis, then at is also along positive x-axis only. If velocity is in this direction but it is decreasing in magnitude, then what happens to at? It will be along negative x-axis. So if I consider the tangential quantities on circular motion, they are same as that of linear motion along a straight line. So we can apply the same knowledge which we learned in motion along a straight line here also. So all these equations, they are applicable here also. So what are those equations? V equal to u plus at, V bar average velocity equal to u plus v by 2, S equal to ut plus half at square, V square equal to u square plus 2as, Sn equal to u plus a into n minus half. Similarly, angular, omega equal to omega naught plus alpha t, omega bar equal to omega naught plus omega by 2. Here omega naught is the initial angular velocity and omega is some instantaneous angular velocity. See here, u is initial linear velocity and v is instantaneous linear velocity here. So theta equal to omega naught t plus half alpha t square, and omega square equal to omega naught square plus 2 alpha t. Theta n equal to omega naught plus alpha into n minus half. So next one, relation between linear and angular variables. So what are linear kinematic variables? S, V and A. What is S? Displacement, linear displacement, linear velocity, and A for linear acceleration. And angular kinematic variables, theta angular displacement, omega angular velocity, and alpha angular acceleration. See the relations. 1. S equal to r theta, linear displacement equal to radius into angular displacement. V equal to r omega, linear velocity equal to radius into angular velocity. AT equal to R alpha. Tangential acceleration equal to radius into angular acceleration. Okay. And AC, centripetal acceleration equal to V square by R, that equal to omega square R, or this can be written as V omega into V. So keep in mind here, compare these three, linear displacement, linear velocity, and out of AT and AC, AT equal to R alpha. See, all these are similar here. Radius into angular, linear quantity equal to radius into angular quantity, linear quantity equal to radius into angular quantity, linear quantity equal to radius into angular quantity. This is also linear quantity only. This is also linear acceleration because it is acting along the radius of the circle. That is, it is acting along the line. So it is acting along the straight line. AT is acting along the tangent, which is a straight line, and AC is also acting along the radius of the circle, which is a straight line. So both of these accelerations are linear quantities only. But here this one is obeying the similarity here. S equal to R theta, V equal to R omega, AT equal to R alpha. But AC equal to V square by R, that equal to omega square R, that equal to omega into V. So centripetal acceleration equal to angular velocity omega into linear velocity V here. Next one, last one. Resultant acceleration equal A equal to root of AT square plus AC square. So AT in the place of AT R alpha whole square plus in the place of AC omega square R whole square. So in terms of vector notation, how we can relate these quantities? So V bar, linear velocity, and omega, V and omega. AT here alpha and R. In the case of AC, omega and V. So how we are relating them? Let us see here. So V bar equal to omega bar cross R bar. So here order is important since these are vectors, no? So V equal to R omega, since we have written this in scalars, so no need of order here. V equal to R omega. But here V bar equal to omega bar cross R bar. And AT bar, tangential acceleration AT bar equal to alpha bar cross R bar. See, R is coming rightwards here. And here centripetal acceleration AC bar equal to omega bar cross V bar. Okay, is omega bar cross V bar. And A bar, resultant acceleration A bar equal to AT bar plus AC bar. Here this is magnitude. A equal to, here all these are magnitudes only. Here this is magnitude, therefore A equal to root of AT square plus AC square. But here we are writing in terms of vector notation. Therefore A bar equal to AT bar plus AC bar. Got it? This next one is part B, that is the dynamics part. Dynamics of circular motion. Here 4 centers. See here, first one is uniform circular motion. A particle is moving with a uniform speed V here with uniform angular velocity omega. So in this case, this is the centripetal acceleration. See, when it is moving with uniform speed, then uniform speed V is constant here. If V is constant, there is no tangential acceleration, AT equal to 0. So if tangential acceleration is 0, tangential force will be 0. So therefore Ft equal to 0. So when the particle is moving with a constant velocity or constant speed on the circumference of a circle, the tangential force will be 0. No force will be acting along the tangent at any point on the circle. So only centripetal force acts because it is moving on the circumference of the circle. So to keep it moving on the circumference of the circle, centripetal force is required here, which is given as Fc equal to MAC, that equal to M V square by R, that equal to M omega square R, or that equal to M omega into V also. Okay, next one, non-uniform circular motion. So here in the case of uniform circular motion, that is when the particle is moving with a constant speed, there is no tangential force. Tangential force is 0, only centripetal force is there. But in the case of non-uniform circular motion, the particle is moving with variable speed here. This is not constant now. At different points the speed will be different value. So here continuously its velocity is, the direction of velocity is continuously changing at every point, and also magnitude is also changing. So you know, centripetal acceleration is due to change in magnitude of velocity, while a tangential acceleration AT is due to change in magnitude of velocity here. So here there is no change in magnitude of velocity, therefore AT equal to 0. Here there is change in direction always at every point, therefore AC is not 0 here. Similarly, now non-uniform circular motion, AT is not equal to 0, AC is not equal to 0. Both will be there because V is not constant, therefore AT is not equal to 0. So AT is there. Similarly, direction is continuously changing. So therefore AC is also existing here. So correspondingly, since there are two accelerations, corresponding forces are also existing here. Therefore, since AT is not equal to 0, FT will be existing here. Since AC is not equal to 0, FC will be existing here. So FC, centripetal force, this force is responsible for changing the direction of the velocity here. Continuously it is changing the direction of velocity. And tangential force FT is responsible for changing the magnitude of the speed of the particle which is making circular motion here. So Ft equal to MAT, where AT is tangential acceleration, and FC equal to MAC, where AC equal to V square by R here. Okay. So what is the net force here? For a uniform circular motion, there is a net force which is given as root of, its magnitude is given as F equal to root of FC square plus FT square. And it's in vector notation we can write F bar equal to FD bar plus FC bar. See here now. In uniform circular motion, there is only FC. In non-uniform circular motion, there will be both FC and FT here. So, motion, next one is the motion on horizontal curves. So, this is the horizontal road. It is a track. So, here a particle of mass m is making circular motion here. It is the center of, O is center of the circle, R is radius of the circle. So, in this direction, this is the tangential speed, which is constant here. And see, in this direction, the particle is making uniform circular motion. Let us suppose. Then in this way, in this case, who provides the centripetal force, required centripetal force? Some external agency must be providing the centripetal force to keep a particle on the circular track. Here this particle is moving on the circle, and there must be some external agency providing this centripetal force. And who is providing centripetal force here? Static friction. Fs is providing. Since this body is having tendency to skid in this direction while performing the circular motion outwards the radius, so there must be a centripetal force which is acting along the radius towards the center of the circle. Okay, and who is providing here? If this body is having tendency to skid away, so in which direction it is skidding away? Away from the center along the radius. So frictional force will be acting towards the center along the radius in this direction. Body skidding in this direction, frictional force in this direction. So for no skidding, what is the case here? The centripetal force is less than or equal to Fs max, because the frictional force can provide us required centripetal force, but it is having its own limitations. So beyond that, it cannot provide us. So the centripetal force for no skidding case, centripetal force must be less than or equal to Fs max. So what is centripetal force? Mv square by r, where v is the instantaneous velocity and r is radius of the circle. So mv square by r is less than or equal to what is Fs max here? Mu s mg. So therefore, from this one, v is less than or equal to root over mu s rg. So what is this? V must be less than or equal to this much value. So this is the maximum value of v. So v max equal to root over mu s rg. So this is a safe velocity, safe maximum value of velocity with which a particle can move on a horizontal circular track. Okay, at a constant speed. So see, note point is the above expression is only for vehicles moving with a constant speed. In this case, there is no tangential force Ft here, right? So here maximum velocity depends on what? Coefficient of static friction, that is the roughness of the surface, radius of the circle. Yes. Next one, for variable speeds. For variable speeds, what? Here this is centripetal force, only Fc is there here, tangential force Ft is not there, and Fc is centripetal force is provided by this one, frictional force here. So here there is Fc as well as Ft. For variable speeds, you know, there will be Ft as well as Fc. So there is a resultant force F is acting like this. So now this F must be less than or equal to mu s mg. Now this F must be less than or equal to mu s mg, because this force must be, for no skidding case, this resultant force must be less than or equal to Fs max here. Here in this case, this is centripetal force Fc must be less than or equal to Fs max. But here, yeah, along with the Fc, Ft is also there. So now here we have to consider the resultant force, that is F. So here F must be less than or equal to Fs max. So what is f here? F involves this one, root of ft square plus fc square. See, f equal to root of ft square plus fc square. So that equal to this much. So this much is less than or equal to mu s mg. So solving this one, we will be getting v max equal to mu sg whole square minus at square bracket r square. This much, this value we are getting here. Yes. Next one, banking of roads. Case 1. Here, tendency to skid downwards the inclined plane. So this is the plane here, this is the road, this is the outer edge. Okay, when the body is, when the object is moving on this one, when it is moving at slower speeds than the prescribed speed, if the vehicle is moving with slower speeds than the prescribed speed, in this case the body or the object shows a tendency to skid in downward direction like this. If the body is showing tendency to skid in downward direction, friction will be acting in upward direction like this. Okay, so friction acts up the plane in this case. When the bodies are moving slow, friction is acting upwards the plane. In limiting case, this friction is having it's a maximum value. It can provide a maximum value of fs max only. So okay, considering this FBD, so what are the forces acting on this one here? M normal reaction in this direction, mg in this direction, and the friction in this direction, 3 forces. Then we are resolving these forces along x-axis and y-axis here. So we are resolving n into n sin theta, n cos theta, and f into f sin theta, f cos theta. Mg is along y-axis, so no problem here. So the two equations here, in vertical direction, n cos theta plus f sin theta equal to mg. N cos theta plus f sin theta must be balancing mg here. Similarly, in horizontal direction, n sin theta minus f cos theta equal to mv minimum square by r here. So here we are interested to find what is the minimum value of velocity which is safe, okay, for the vehicles to perform the circular motion in this case. So putting in the place of f, putting fs max equal to mu sn, and solving these two equations, we will be getting v minimum equal to root over rg into tan theta minus mu by 1 plus mu tan theta. Okay, this is the minimum safe velocity to perform circular motion without skidding down. So case 2, tendency to skid upwards. Bodies show tendency to skid in upward direction. When this is possible, when they move at greater speeds than the prescribed speed here. So the same FBD here, only the difference is the body is skidding upward direction, so friction will be acting in downward direction. N is like this, mg is like this, f is like this. So finally solving this one, we will be getting this v max equal to root over rg into tan theta plus mu by 1 minus mu tan theta. So compare these two formulae, no need of any confusion here. See, since this is minimum value, no? In the numerator, the value is minimum, tan theta minus mu. Here V max in the numerator, tan theta plus mu. Okay, so compare in this direction. Here where you are getting minus, you are getting plus here. Here denominator we are getting plus here, here we are getting minus here. Okay, so these are minimum and maximum safe velocity values. Next one, here notice that, so condition for no skidding. So with what velocity the vehicles have to move without skidding here. So what is the safe range? So the safe range is between V minimum and V maximum. So velocity must be greater than or equal to V minimum and less than or equal to V max. This is the safe velocity. And here the relation between, so this outrage, height of outrage and the width of the road. This is the width of the road is B, height of outrage is H here. So here the relation is that tan theta equal to H by B. H is height of outrage and B is width of the road. So next one is motion in horizontal circle. So motion in horizontal circle. A small body of mass m is tied to a string at one end and rotated by holding the other end. So in first case, we are rotating this one on a smooth surface where there is no friction here. So it is rotating in a circular motion here. This is the center of the circle. This is the length of the string here. Here at O we are holding the rope, and here M is attached to this this other end of the string, and it is made to rotate on the circular motion like this. So in this case, towards the center, tension will be acting here, and then upwards the table, normal reaction, and downwards the table, mg will be acting here. So in this case, who is providing the required centripetal force? Only tension force is there. Tension force is acting along the radius and towards the center. So no other forces along this radius here. So T equal to mv square by L. In the place of R, we are getting L here. L is the length of the rope. So this is equal to R. T equal mv square by L, or m omega square L. So okay, next one is the rotation in air. See here, we are holding the rope at this point at one end point O, and this is the object tied at another end point. It is rotated like this in this case. So here what are the forces acting? So this particle is making horizontal circular motion here, okay, and we are getting a cone shape like this. So this is O fixed where we are holding the rope here. This is angle theta, and here mass is there. Here the forces acting on this mass m are mg, gravitational force downwards, and tensional force along this string like this. This tensional force is resolved. One is the t sine theta, another one is t cos theta. Okay, this is the radius of the horizontal circle. Okay, this is the length of the string L, and it is moving with a constant speed v here. So in this case, what are the force equations? T cos theta equal to mg. See, this is t cos theta, this is mg. Both of them are balanced. Similarly, T sin theta equal to mv square by r. See, T sin theta is the unbalanced force which is providing the required centripetal force. Therefore, T sin theta equal to mv square by r. Okay, solving these two equations, we will be getting T equal to root of v square by r whole square plus g square. Okay, and in one more formula, T equal to mg by cos theta. See, T equal to mg by cos theta. So T equal to mg by cos theta, that equal to mg by, see here we are taking this part of a triangle here. This is angle theta, this length is L here, and this is r. So this is root of L square minus r square. So substituting cos theta value from this one here. So T equal to mg by cos theta, we are getting T equal to mg L by root of L square minus r square. See, tension in the string, tension in the string. Here G is same here, G is there, G is there. R is the radius of the horizontal circle, R is there, R is there. M is there, M is there. So here V is there, here V is not there. Here L is there, here L is not there. So we are getting two types of formula here. One is T equal to m into root of v square by r whole square plus g square. Here T equal to mg L by root of L square minus r square. So we can use the appropriate formula in problems here. This is in terms of linear velocity and linear velocity here, and this is in terms of length of the string. Okay, expression for tension in the string here. Next one is the time period of rotation. Next one, time period of rotation. So here we use it capital D for tension, therefore I am using for time period T naught here. So T naught, time equal to distance by speed. So 2 pi r, this is the linear distance, no? 2 pi r by v, this is equal to 2 pi r by v equal to rg tan theta. So that equal to 2 pi into root over r by g tan theta, bringing this r outside here. So how we got this v equal to root over rg tan theta? See 1 and 2 equations. Divide 1 by 2 here, 2 by 1 here. So you will be getting tan theta equal to v square by rg. From that one we will be getting this one, v equal to root over rg by tan theta. Got it? So therefore solving this one, finally is equal to T naught equal to 2 pi into root over L sin theta by g tan theta, that equal to 2 pi into root over L cos theta by g here. 2 pi into root over r by g tan theta. So this is equal to 2 pi into, what is r here? This one r equal to L sin theta. So we have put L sin theta here in the place of small r. It's in the place of small r. So this is the right angle triangle. This is hypotenuse. So opposite side equal to hypotenuse into sin theta. Adjacent, this is adjacent side. This is equal to hypotenuse into cos theta. So r equal to L sin theta. So therefore 2 pi into root over L sin theta by g here. So this is equal to 2 pi into root of L, solving this one, L cos theta by g. Therefore time period of rotation. So for one rotation, so what is the time taken here? T naught equal to 2 pi into root over L cos theta by g. Who is deciding here? Length of the string is deciding here. So if length is kept constant, angle of rotation theta is also deciding here. So okay, and here can we rotate this one such that this string will be making an angle 90 degrees here like this? 90 degrees here like this? No. Let us see why. Here if theta equal to 90 degrees, what is cos 90? 0 degrees. Here if you put cos, see, if theta equal to 90 degrees, so this is not possible because cos 90 equal to 0 degrees. Okay, if you put this cos 90 equal to 0 here, so T naught equal to 0. So T naught cannot be 0, no? Time period cannot be 0. So which is impossible here. Next one is the death well or rotor. So what is this? So here, in circus we come across this one, the motorcyclist, he makes a horizontal circular motion on vertical walls of a deep well like this. So here this m is the mass of the body who is making circular motion here. So what are the forces acting on this one? So if mass is there trying to stand on this wall here, what happens? It tends to skid downwards. So if any body is tending to skid in this direction, the friction will be in upward direction. So friction F is acting upwards, as usual mg is acting downwards, and since it is on this wall, normal reaction will be acting in this direction here. Here capital R is the radius of the death well. So what are the force equations here? Frictional force F must be balancing mg. Frictional force F must be balancing mg here. And what about this normal reaction? This is unbalanced force which is providing the required centripetal force. So n equal to mv square by r, that equal to m omega square r. See, solving these two equations, we will be getting v here. V equal to root over rg n by f. Okay. So here, to find v minimum value of velocity, so with what minimum velocity the person can perform horizontal circular motion in this case, the safest value is v equal to minimum implies friction will be maximum here because it is in denominator. If this becomes maximum, this will become minimum. So F must be maximum here. So what is maximum value of F here? Mu n. Therefore V minimum equal to root over Rg. So this is F equal to mu n cancels here. So Rg by mu. So minimum safe value of velocity for the death well case is given as the V minimum equal to root over Rg by mu. That is, it depends on the radius of the death well and depends upon the coefficient of friction of the walls of the well here. Okay. So okay, next topic is uniform motion in vertical circle. See here, a particle is making uniform motion now, but this is in vertical circle. A body of mass m is tied to a string. Hold this is one end point is O. It is attached to other end point here, and it is wheeled in vertical circle here. So in this case, at every point the velocity will be v only. Okay, so this is uniform circular motion in vertical circle. In this case, at a point A here, so what are the forces acting? Along the string, tension T1 is acting upwards, and here mg is acting downwards. So what is the who is providing the centripetal force here? The net effect of these two forces must be providing centripetal force, that is T1 minus mg. Therefore T1 minus mg equal to mv square by L. What is L here? Radius of the circle is equal to length of the string, no? So T1 minus mg equal to mv square by L. So from this equation, T1 equal to mg plus mv square by L. Similarly, at highest point B here, tension T2 is acting downwards, mg is acting downwards. So T2 plus mg is equal to mv square by L. So from this one, T2 equal to mv square by L minus mg. This is equation 2. Here T3, tension is T3 here. Here it is T1, here it is T2, here it is T3. T3 equal to mv square by L here in this case. So comparing this T1 and T2, comparing this T1 and T2, T1 minus T2 equal to, we are getting 2 mg here. Therefore T1 is greater than T2 by 2 mg. Okay, next one, a non-uniform circular motion in vertical circle. So here in this case, at different points, at different points velocity will be different here. See, this is u, this is v. At different points velocity will be different here. At lowest point A, see what is the force equation here? T1 is acting in this direction, mg is acting in this direction. So T1 minus mg equal to mu square by L, because here velocity is u at this position. So therefore T1 equal to mg plus mu square by L. This is equation 1. So tension at lowest point is this much. Similarly, at highest point, T2 plus mg equal to mv square by L, since velocity is v here. So here T2 equal to mv square by L minus mg. This is T minimum. So what is the relation between v and u here? So for this velocity and this velocity, so from here to here, the body is moving to a vertical height which is equal to 2L here. So we can compare this one with body projected vertically upwards, upward projectile motion here. So we can use this equation v square equal to u square plus or minus 2as plus when the body is moving downwards, and minus when the body is moving upwards here. So v square equal to u square minus 2gh. So this is equal to u square. So this is lowest point velocity is u square minus 2g. What is h? Between this point and this point, what is height here? 2l. So in the place of h, I am writing 2l here. So v square equal to u square minus 4gl. This is one more equation. See, at any point B, see, let us consider a point B here. So net force towards center is how much? T minus mg cos theta. See here at point B, what are the forces acting along the tension, along the string? T is acting in this direction, mg is acting. So mg is resolved into two components, mg cos theta and mg sin theta. So mg cos theta is balanced by tension. Both of them got balanced here. Okay, and this mg sin theta is unbalanced force here. So no, these two are not balanced, sorry, because here centripetal force is required, no? So T is greater than mg cos theta, because in this direction we require centripetal force, because it is performing circular motion here. So T minus mg cos theta equal to mv square by L. Okay. And what about velocity? This velocity at this point and velocity at this point, same condition. V square minus u square equal to 2gh, that equal to u square minus 2g into, in the place of L, we require this vertical distance between this point A and this point B. This is the vertical distance, and this is equal to L into 1 minus cos theta, because see here, this part is this is L, so this part is this is L sin theta, this part is L cos theta, so this is L minus L cos theta. So we are getting L into 1 minus cos theta. So V equal to root of u square minus 2gl into 1 minus cos theta. So we can relate the velocity between any 2 points on this vertical circle using this formula. So next, what is centripetal acceleration here? AC equal to V square by L. Tangential acceleration AT equal to G sin theta, because mg sin theta is the force acting here, no? Mg sin theta is the unbalanced force here. So what is acceleration? G sin theta. G sin theta is acting along the tangent, so it is a tangential acceleration. So very important things you have to keep in mind is that to solve problems in non-uniform circular motion in vertical direction, first find net force towards the center and equate it to mv square by L, and relate the speeds at any 2 points using v square equal to u square plus or minus 2gh. These are very important cases. So next one is the 3 cases in non-uniform motion in vertical circle. So there are 3 cases in the non-uniform motion in vertical circle. Number 1 is condition for particle to complete vertical circle. So the particle, what are the conditions for the particle to complete vertical circle? Case 1, condition for the particle to complete vertical circle. The particle will complete vertical circle if TH is greater than or equal to 0. What is TH? Tension when the particle is at highest point. So TL is the tension when the particle is at lowest point here. Okay. So here TH must be greater than or equal to 0. So what is the force equation at this topmost point? TH plus mg equal to mv square by L. Therefore TH equal to mv square by L minus mg. So TH is greater than or equal to 0 implies what? mv square by L minus mg is greater than or equal to 0. That implies v square is greater than or equal to Lg. So this is one equation. V square is greater than or equal to Lg, or V is greater than or equal to root Lg. And here using v square equal to u square plus or minus 2gh, so we are getting v square equal to u square minus 4gl. So solving this 2 and 3, you are getting u equal to root over 5gl. Therefore u minimum equal to root over 5gl. So minimum velocity at the lowest point, so that the particle completes the vertical circular motion is given as u minimum equal to root over 5gl. Okay. Then what is the critical velocity? It is the minimum velocity at the highest point required to just complete the vertical circle. So v square equal to u square minus 2gh equal to v square implies v square equal to u square minus 2g into 2l, that equal to u square minus 4gl, and a critical velocity v equal to root over gl. So substituting this value, so and we are getting v equal to root over gl here. Also here itself we got it, no? V square must be greater than or equal to Lg, or gl means v must be greater than or equal to root Lg, or in this way also we can get here. Next one, tension at highest and lowest points. So what about tension at highest point? When it is tension at highest point to just complete the vertical circular motion is th equal to 0. And centripetal force see, let us find TL, tension at lowest point here. So centripetal force TL minus mg equal to mu square by L, that equal to m by L, and what is u square? 5gl, that equal to 5 mg. Therefore TL equal to 6 mg. So tension at lowest point is 6 mg here. So okay, so what is first case? First case is condition for the particle to complete vertical circle. So this is the condition. What is the condition here? U minimum must be equal to root over 5, U minimum equal to root over 5gl, and V minimum equal to root gl. Tension at highest point is 0, tension at lowest point must be 6 mg here. Then case 2 is oscillations about point O. So there are two types of oscillations here. Complete semicircular oscillations, the particle will make oscillations in a semicircle here, and here the particle will be oscillating along a small arc here. So what are the cases here? So let us consider this one. When does the particle makes oscillations in a small arc? When u, that is the velocity at the lowest point, is less than root 2gl. When it is less than root 2gl, what happens here? Velocity becomes 0 before it reaches this same this part here, this point. Before it reaches this point itself, its velocity becomes 0, but tension will not be 0, so it makes oscillatory motion here. So what is the case? When u is the less than root 2gl. So what if u is equal to root 2gl? If u is equal to root 2gl, this point, this mass reaches this point here. So here velocity will become 0. So velocity will be becoming 0 here, tension also will be becoming 0 here, so it cannot go up, it falls down, it makes oscillations in semicircular path. And next one is case 3, leaving the vertical circle somewhere else. So if u is greater than root 2gl and less than root 5gl, then t becomes 0 before v becomes 0. So here the particle will leave the circle anywhere between B and C. So here, suppose if u is greater than root 2gl, but it is less than root 5gl, then what happens? It moves, it crosses this point B. Because it is greater than root 2gl, it crosses this point B. But since it is less than root 5gl, it cannot reach point C here. So somewhere at any point between B and C, it leaves the circle. Because here, tension becomes 0 before velocity becomes 0, and it leaves the circular motion, it falls down like a free body. So note, the above conditions are applicable for a particle moving inside these same conditions. Here we have taken a body attached to a rope. So these conditions are also applicable for a body which is skidding in vertical circle on a smooth spherical surface. Okay, on a smooth spherical surface also. See, these are the examples here. Here spherical shells are taken here. So what is the difference between that case, rope case, and this case here? There tension is providing the required centripetal force. Here normal reactions are taking part in that case here. So same equations here. For the particle to complete circular motion, n2 must be greater than or equal to 0. There th must be greater than or equal to 0. Here n2 must be greater than or equal to 0. There velocity at highest point is root over gl. Here velocity at highest point is root over gr, because radius of this spherical shell is capital R. And u must be greater than root 5gl there, and here it is root 5gr. See, everything is same. In the place of n, in the place of t, just we are replacing with n here. Okay. Yes, next one, 14th one. A vehicle moving on horizontal surface or convex bridge and concave bridge. So see here, this is a horizontal road. A vehicle of mass m is moving rightwards with velocity, the constant velocity v here. So what are the forces acting in this direction? Mg is acting in this direction, and normal reaction n1 is acting in this direction. Why I have chosen n1 here means here for these three different cases, I have chosen n1 here, n2 here, n3 here. Okay, so here what is the n1 equal to mg, both are balanced here. So since this is a straight line, both of them are balanced here. Since this is a curved path, the vehicle is making a circular motion in this case. So there must be centripetal force. So who is providing centripetal force? mg minus n2, because mg must be greater than n2 here. Centripetal force must be acting towards the center of the circle. So mg minus n2 equal to mv square by r. Therefore n2 equal to mg minus mv square by r. Similarly, in this case, this is the concave bridge here, and n3 is acting upwards, mg is acting downwards, the particle is moving like this. So what is the equation here? m3 must be greater than mg. So n3 minus mg equal to mv square by r. So n3 equal to mg plus mv square by r. See here, in this case n1 equal to mg, here n2 equal to mg minus something, here n3 equal to mg plus something here. So comparing, n1 is greater than n2, but it is less than n3. What is the highest value here? n3 is highest, that is a concave bridge. In the case of concave bridge, normal contact force is highest. And what is the least case here? In the case of convex bridge, n2 is least. This one is mid-range between these two. So a vehicle can lose contact on a convex bridge, but not on a horizontal or concave bridges here. See, this is always positive. n3 is always positive because mg plus something here, but n2 mg minus something. If velocity increases, this value increases. Mg minus this increased value will be getting negative value. Therefore there is chance only for n2 to become negative here. So while moving on convex bridges, must be careful, the vehicle loses contact there. Okay, next one is a vertical circular motion of a particle fixed at the end of a rigid light rod. So previously we have taken massless string. Now we have taken massless and a rigid rod, at the end of which the object is placed here. So in this case, what is the relation between this velocity and this velocity? V square equal to u square minus 4gl, because the length of the rod is l here. So between this bottom point and top point, the total vertical height is 2l here. Therefore v square equal to u square minus 4gl. You know, to just complete the circular motion, what is v here? V must be 0. So to just complete circular motion, v must be 0. And here therefore, putting a v in the place of v, if we put 0 here and solving, we will be getting u equal to 2 into root gl. Therefore u minimum is, so how much minimum value? U minimum equal to 2 into root over gl, where is length, l is the length of the rod here. The next one is the centrifugal force. Since a rotating frame is a non-inertial frame, we draw an extra pseudo outward force known as centrifugal force while working from rotating frame of reference. That is known as it is a centrifugal force. Okay, it is a pseudo force which we are drawing on the object, since the rotating frame is a non-inertial frame. So circular motion theoretical part is over. I will give you problems soon.